Hi Hayden and Kat, here is your first video feedback for your first journal paragraph submission. I've already read it and marked a few things that I want to talk to you about. Let's look at the first sentence. Let's see, the Enlightenment was a movement in the late 17th century and early 18th century where the societal norms began to change to a more independent and free-thinking society. Okay, several problems here. First of all, this sentence is pretty wordy. I'm already at the end of the first line, kind of losing the red thread. First of all, you don't have to say 17th century and early 18th century. Why don't you just say in the late 17th and early 18th centuries? Then, grammatically, you can't say where because it's a time. So it's not a place where you could refer to as where, but when. The societal norms began to change to a more. This doesn't. Read this again. So when societal norms began to change to a more independent, free-thinking society. What? While I kind of think I know what you're trying to say, this half sentence doesn't make any sense. How can societal norms begin to change to a society? Changes of societal norms resulted in a more independent, free-thinking society. Yes, that makes sense. But the way you said it here doesn't really work. I hope you can see that. And then you go on to say the Enlightenment, a societal change that not only affected. You just said that this was a societal change, so basically what you're doing here is you're writing two topic sentences. So one of them must go, or at least merge the two sentences that are also not very well connected because you say the Enlightenment, which is kind of repetitive. And it's also the paragraph has two topic sentences, okay? And neither of them is actually very good because remember the paragraph sentence needs to say, and I wrote it down here, it needs to say this. This paragraph is about, and in particular, it discusses this, okay? So what is this paragraph that you have written about? And in particular, what does it discuss? And then you see that these two sentences just don't actually say that, okay? Because the second sentence, the first one makes me expect something about societal changes. The second makes me expect something about music. And now you go on to say Empress Maria Theresa brought a shift in political ideals. So it's three completely independent things, while you're supposed to write something where one thing introduces the next and the same thing, okay? So first of all, you need to find content and assemble content that belongs together in such a way that you can then figure out a first sentence that says this paragraph is about this, and in particular, it discusses that. Okay? Then, further down, that I would say is the main problem here, because you've not quite implemented the paragraph structure as we discussed it in class. Then you say styles such as galant and empfindsam. were made popular. In academic writing, we're mainly about saying who did what, when, why, and how. Using the passive voice, therefore, in academic writing is not a good idea because it undermines particularly saying the who, because the passive voice implies that you're not saying. Here, we don't, in the sentence, we don't know who made these styles popular. You just said that they were made popular. But the who is actually very vital information here, okay? So avoid passive voice at all cost. And then you say, with this new style, and I don't understand what new style now, because you talked about two. So you either have to specify or it's actually these styles. He said this was this. Also not sure what exactly this refers to. More people began to learn instruments. That's reflected in Bach's sonatas that I don't understand. There's a logical disconnect here that I'm not following. Was reflected in CPE. Now these are abbreviations. Different. We spell it with a dot. Bach's book, Sonatas for Connoisseurs and Amateurs. Actually, it's not a book. It's a collection of sonatas. In fact, in several volumes. So you just say in Bach's Sonatas for Connoisseurs and Amateurs, which allowed for less experienced musicians to play famous works. Also here, I'm not sure what you're trying to say, because as you heard, the CPE Bach sonatas are actually quite difficult. And I don't know what you mean by the less experienced musicians to play famous works. No idea what you mean here. So, two main takeaways from this. First of all, you need to familiarize yourselves better with the paragraph structure, and in particular, the function of the topic sentence. And then, when you write the next journal entry, you need to make sure you really understand the content that you write about so that you can make factually correct statements, because this, I'm not sure, for example, what it means, okay? If you don't understand a concept that we talk about, you have many avenues to ask, and please do so, okay? If you have any questions, as always, you know where to find me and you know where to ask questions. Other than that, I see you very soon. Take care. Bye.